Hi everybody! Tonight I will share with you how I did my Christmas stocking. First I will cast on the machine with waste yarn, one in the front, one in the back for the first row. I used the 22 needle machine for this project. First row is done, put that in your feeder and then you crank. You'd like to do at least 5 rows. It's the only part that we will use the waste yarn for this pattern, so don't worry. So I did the 5 row, cut the yarn, waste yarn, put that in the middle, and then I will add 25 rows of red. Put that in your notebook. Make sure you have something to drink and ready to listen to the video. The video is at least 18 or 19 minutes. Sorry for my voice is still a little weird. So I will crank 25 rows. And every 10 rows you will see put a stitch marker like this because my row counter doesn't work. And since a long time ago I get used to that using a stitch marker and I'm good with that. So every 10 rows I will add a little stitch marker. Arrived to here, I will switch to white for 20 rows. Those two have to be attached together. Never attach the waste yarn with your working project yarn. And then you crank for 20 rows. And same thing, you will see me put some stitch markers. Put that in your notebook. So we did a color change already. And we add some waste yarn. And now we switch to 25 rows of red. Attach those two yarn with a double knot like this, and then I crank. Keep on cranking. Put my stitch marker. I put that a little fast because you will see me do that a lot. So when it's touched the table, it's very important to pull on it or roll it so it prevents drop stitch. So now it's time to cast off with waste yarn. So I will come back with waste yarn. I will crank for at least 5 rows, like I said at the beginning. A little drink of water for me. And then I keep cranking and it will release by itself. It's magic. So stretch it a little bit and put that aside. So now we will do the eels. For the eels we will need 20 rows of white. Put that in a yarn feeder. The cast on is done. Time to crank to reach the 20 rows. There, time to remove it. So I put my yarn doing like a triangle. Make sure that I have enough. I go on one screw to the other one. I will do a 360 like this. I stop just in front of the yarn feeder because I don't want any drop stitch. And I will go and grab stitch by stitch. Don't miss any because you will end up with drop stitch. So almost finished for the eels. Stretch it and put that aside. Now it's time for the toe. Start with the white, cast on, put that in a yarn feeder. Make sure you go in the back of the white needle and then you crank for 10 rows. 10 rows. Put that in front of the black needle and then you will go and add 20 rows of red. Do the double knot there and then continue. Put my stitch marker. Now it's time to add 10 white rows. this. Time to remove it like I did earlier. Do a 360. Stop just before the yarn feeder. Take your wool needle, and it's time to pick up all the stitches. There. So 5 waist yarn, 25, 20, 25, 5 waist yarn. That was the body of the Christmas socks or the Christmas stocking. Put that on the other side. I bring that to the other one, like when we do a hat. And it will be the time to attach those together. So with the hook, you could use a 4.5 or a 5 or maybe a 5.5. Maybe it was a 4.5 because it was on my table. So we'll go and grab one stitch on one side, one stitch on the other side. That's why it's very important to use contrasting yarn. It's easier to get it at the end. So as you could see, I grab all the stitches one by one. No rush in this part. You don't want to end up with drop stitch. So be careful. And after that, I will show how I did remove my waste yarn. It won't stay there, don't worry. I will put that a little bit faster, don't worry. But I will slow down at the end. Sorry. There. Almost there. Very important to be very careful here because you really want to get all the stitches. And the starting point of each tube could be a little bit different sometimes. But if you miss, just use a tail of yarn that you have here. Use a wool needle at the end and fix the hole if you make one. There is always a way to fix our little mistake with yarn. I'm getting good at it. So now it's time to remove the waste yarn. Very easy. There is always an easy way, easy part, and an harder one. The harder one usually is the cast on part, the beginning. So this one you have to remove the little knot here, and then you remove the first row on the top. And when you finish the first row, you just pull and it will be very easy to remove like this. So I keep my waste yarn for another project. See, there's a little knot hole, but it's not attached together. So with the wool needle, I will fix that. Bring that tail to the other one. Make sure you don't go too tight when you do knot for this project part. Put that inside the double layer. So the body of your Christmas stocking is done. Time to get the eels. The eels is like when you do a hat. You just go around like this. Close the tube with the double knot, and you go on the other side. Like this. There. Pull. Put that inside join the middle to the other middle, attach those two yarn, pull on your heels, cut the excess, hide it in the double layer. When it's done, you go and grab the heels. That's not a heels. Yeah, it's not heels. It's toe. Sorry, it's toe. So for the toe, you will need 10 plus 20 plus 10, depending of the color you choose to use. Or if you want to do it in the same color, you're gonna need 40 rows. Maybe it's better to do same color socks for the first time if you're more comfortable. So I do what I do with the heels earlier. Join the two middle, stretch it, like this, stretch, stretch, stretch. Turn it the side you need it. Hide the tail in the double layer. Stretch it. So now I will fold it like this to find the middle. I don't count. But if you want to count, it's 22 around. So, but I don't. I just fold it and it worked well for me anyways. So I will do that for the toe part. Same thing, just a little knot, because we will remove that at the end. This and the heels too, same thing. If you have a plastic stitch marker, you could use it too. So now for this technique, I will use full grafting. So I grab a full stitch on one side. It's a little bit clumsy at the beginning, and a full stitch on the other side. So I go like this till I reach the other yellow stitch marker. Put that a little bit faster, and I don't pull it right now, but if you want to do it, but don't go too tight, because if you go too tight you won't be able to put the stuff in it for the Christmas night. So I will go grab another stitch here and another here till I reach the yellow stitch marker. There. For the name, for the words today, I will ask you to put the word eels in the comment, because I was not using it properly earlier. Eels. So you pull on it, make sure it's not too tight, stretch it a little bit. Now it's time to do a little knot. Remove the yellow yarn, stitch marker, not needing any more. We'll do a little knot here, and then I will go and attach the eels. So I did my knot, I did in the double layer, got it, stretch, do the same thing on this side, . There. Time to add the eels. So I'll do the same thing, grab one full stitch and go just after the yellow stitch marker and grab a full stitch. That's gonna be my starting point. I could remove it right now if I want. Grab another full stitch and another one here. So if you're still here, can you write the word eels in the comment? It will tell me how many minutes that you listen the video. So the word eels will be our inside joke. For those who noticed my little mistake earlier. It's okay, I'm still learning, so. And I know this by myself. Sometimes I do mistake and people remind me. I don't see them sometimes. People notice it. It's okay. So next time I do better. So almost there. I remove the stitch marker. Very important to go right in. Don't want to end up with the old. There. And you continue. Tighten a little bit. Almost there. Put that a little bit faster. I will do the bigger socks soon on the 46 needle, so stay tuned for that one too. I already filmed it. It need to be editing. That's the longer part of making video. Editing. So go slowly here. Make sure you grab all the stitches. Grab here. Because if you don't grab all of it, it will end up with the hold. There. And I will attach those two white tail. And I did. So hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to put a thumbs up to give the video a chance to be seen by more people. So see you next week for a new video. Ciao, ciao.